My countdown. I had a countdown to everything. I love this. Welcome, welcome you all to the first ever PTC live stream workshop. We're so happy to have you all with us today. I'm Asia Swan, co-founder of Protected Creatives, also referred to as PTC, along with our other co-founder, Marcel Solomon. I'm going to let you guys know a little bit more about us. We are the first nonprofit music publishing organization in the nation. Our mission is to create a safe, supportive, and nurturing environment where artists can thrive creatively and personally, free from threats and challenges they face in the music industry. We are dedicated to safeguarding musicians by providing comprehensive music publishing education, diverse career support services, fostering emotional intelligence, and actively addressing and combating gun violence within the hip hop community. Part of our initiatives are to give back to artists and provide support services that they need to be successful. We asked and took surveys from many of you, and we heard you. Vocal coaching was at the top of the list, and PTC is here to provide and come through for you. So today we have one of the best, Sybil Sinz. She's a vocal coach who's been in the industry for many years. She's based out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and she'll be doing an introductory vocal lesson with us today. So get ready to warm up and get those vocals going. And after this lesson is over, be sure to check her out at sybilsinsmusic.com, where you can book one of her sessions or a series of her vocal sessions. And you can also find us at protectedcreatives.org or on IG at Protected Creatives. We'll also post this for you and make it available for you after the presentation. So let's dive in and welcome Sybil. Thank you so much for coming out today and taking time with us to do this. So excited to have you.
Thank you, Asha, for the wonderful introduction. And
Absolutely.
I am very grateful to be here with you all. So let's get right into it. So I am an opera singer and a voice coach, and I started singing my technique called Singing Made Simple to help myself. And then also to help ordinary who are professional singers and ordinary folks who love to sing, who are making a living of singing, but have no idea how the voice works. And we have lots of folks that'll say 50% of the time I sound great and I sound awesome. And then other 50% of the time I get nervous or I get scared or I close off. What is that? Well, let me explain to you what that is. That is 50% of the time we are relaxed, calm human beings, and we allow our bodies to function the way our creator intended. So I'm going to teach you all how that function works so you can kind of focus in on what to do when you run into problems. So when I teach voice lessons, it's not about a fix all. It's not a perfect um, trick or anything like that. What it does is it helps you tap in to your natural support system and really get your mind focused on how it works and then use it when you run into trouble. I saw something on Protect the Creatives website and they were talking about performance anxiety. And a lot of people ask me about that. And this technique helps you with that because it gives you insurance in case something happens. That's what insurance is. Okay. So if you're on stage, in case you get tense, which often happens. Okay. In case you get nervous, in case something comes in and changes the environment and you kind of lose your focus. What do I do to get back there? What do I do when my throat starts to hurt when I'm singing or performing? What do I do when I need to add more support to sing a higher note or a lower note or a clearer note or a more professional sound when I'm in the studio? So all those things matter all those things matter for good support. All right. So it's 3 steps and they are relax, create space, and lift. Now, the biggest misconception when I was taking voice lessons my entire life, I've been a musician since I was 5. When my voice teachers, who were very profound and like great opera singers and world renowned folks, they would use all these words and it didn't really comprehend. Even though I did take pedagogy class, I was a music major, but a lot of voice teachers, and there's a difference between voice teachers and voice coaches, but we'll get into that another time. But a lot of I'm both. A lot of voice teachers will teach um in a language that their singers may not understand. So singing made simple really is simple techniques that you already do that you've been doing since the day you were born. And things that you can do while you're walking down the street, driving in the car, sitting at your desk, waiting backstage, even on stage in between musical interludes. Okay. These are things that you're going to do all the time to help strengthen the support system, which is not in your throat and it's not at your diaphragm. It is at the pelvic floor. So, the relaxing part, we're going to talk about a few exercises that help you relax that tension in your throat. Because even right now, I haven't felt well. I've been teaching all day and I had a little tension right here. What I did was I sat up and I began to poke my belly out, which I'll talk about, and add more support for my pelvic floor instead of speaking on my throat. And sometimes it works, and sometimes you have to really calm yourself. So, relax. First is drinking water. Before you go on stage, before you rehearse, before actually all day, it's important to stay hydrated. And part of relaxing is drinking and hydrating. So when you swallow, it creates like a massage for your voice, for your vocal cords. So it relaxes and it releases tension. So that swallowing and that drinking of water, it immediately sends signals to your muscles and to your brain to calm and to relax. Believe it or not, it's very scientific, although I am not a scientific person. I'm just a singer. But this has gone, I've been working on this. I walked around my apartment for 10 years trying to figure out how to make my voice work. I had this big old voice, and the teachers would tell me, you're singing too loud. I would get all these complaints, but then they would also tell me on the flip side, it's a stellar voice, it's a great voice. I just didn't know how to control it. And the things that they were saying to me just did not make sense. So they told me that by the time I was my age now, I would have wrecked my voice because I would have been singing it all wrong and doing all sorts of things because I didn't comprehend what they were saying. So I said, no, I'm going to have a lifelong career. That's not going to happen. So I took 10 years, a whole 10-year chunk, and I walked around my tiny little apartment on the west side of Cincinnati, and I came up with ways that my voice worked and how to describe it to other people in the most simplest of terms. And I was just like, oh, first you got to relax. Then I got to create space and maintain that space in the core area. Then I have to lift from the pelvic floor. Now I got to figure out how to practice that to make that technique automatic when I'm speaking, when I'm singing, when I'm doing anything. And that's the goal of Singing Made Simple. I'm going to teach you something today that if you never see me again, you'll remember for the rest of your life and it will help change your voice. I promise you. All right. So, the first step of the relaxation technique is drinking water and swallowing. Again, it acts as a massage for the vocal cords. The next most important technique that I use is yawning. Force it. Now, what the yawn does is it shows you exactly how the support system works. The yawning creates space in the back of the throat, which we need. We need all different, depending on what genre, what style of music you're singing, determines how much space, how loud you want to be, the um, height of your notes. You know what I mean? Just the range of your notes. Different things determine the height and how much you need the back of your throat. And it's the same thing. I need everyone to understand that your voice is an instrument. And when you're lifting, excuse me, when you're lifting from the pelvic floor, you're actually like pressing valves, just like if you were a trombone or a trumpet or a flute. You are the instrument. You're the woodwind. You're moving air and then you're adjusting the back of your throat to create sound, allowing your vocal cords to relax and vibrate freely. And then it's all being controlled by the pelvic floor, the little muscle right beneath your belly button that's wrapped around your bladder. It's called the detrusor muscle. And a lot of my ladies, I don't have babies, but a lot of my singers who have babies, when I was trying to explain this early on, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, they're like, Sybil, do you mean it's sort of like Kegels? So when we get to that part of the lift, remember it's sort of like a kegel. You're lifting, you're controlling your bladder the same way you control your flow of when you're going to the restroom. It's all the same. All right, let's get back to the yawn. It's part of the relax. When you yawn, do it again. I want you to feel the lift in the back of your throat. Your uvula immediately goes up. That is absolutely necessary for a clear, clean, professional sound. When the uvula, the little thing that dangles in the back of your throat, when that is down, it creates friction. And so you have a very immature, raspy sound. When that uvula is lifted, we have clear sailing to go straight through the cords, nice and clean with no phlegm, no mucus hanging off of that uvula, and the uvula not being in the way, restricting the air. Okay. So the yawn creates space in the back of the throat. And we'll get to creating space because we use the yawn for several different things. Now, when you yawn again, I want you to pay very close attention to what your belly is doing. Okay. When you yawn, your belly immediately goes out. Immediately. And that's how we create space. And that's actually how I teach my singers to breathe. I don't use the word breathe. I use the word poke your bellies out. Poke your belly out or create space. Because unfortunately, we have a lot of words with negative associations. And when we say breathe, many of the humans, I don't know why we do this, we go like this. We suck in. All right. And sucking in does not allow maximum capacity of our lungs, and it does not allow space in the core region. It shrinks it and sucks it all in. And so now we're doing the opposite of what we need to do. So now when you yawn for me, and this is the exercise, this is it. Because the more you yawn and you create that dropping your jaw immediately when it's time to sing is a formation. You drop your jaw, you lift the back of that throat, that uvula goes up, and your belly goes out. When you yawn, that immediately gives you that technique, that formation. Okay, so yawn. It feels so good too. Just like drinking water, when you yawn, it sends off signals to the brain and to the rest of the body to relax, to calm down. It's very scientific. Bill Nye probably has a video on it somewhere. However, I can't explain the science, but I do know for a fact it sends off the signal to relax because when we yawn, we are relaxing. We're probably very tired. We're trying to rejuvenate, get some air. Now, I want you to yawn and I want you to feel this open of space. And then when you release the air, I want you to feel the lift of the pelvic floor. And this is what's naturally happening when you support air. Okay? Ready? Yawn. And I'm going to stand up. And when you yawn, I want your belly to go out. So we're yawning, belly out, and then we're blowing out. And you feel a lift. Okay? And that's what it should feel like all the time. And that's the relaxation exercise. Okay. Um, I'm sorry, I lost train of thought. Um, okay, so when you're backstage, before you go on stage, to relieve anxiety, tension, drink some water and yawn. Remind yourself of how that air is supposed to move and how to create space. You're kind of creating a foundation. All right. And if you do this all the time, you'll always have a lot of space and you'll have lots of air to lift and support sound. Okay. Now, creating, relax, creating space. All right. So, those are just two things. This is just a brief introductory. I don't want to overwhelm you, but drinking water and moving air through the yawn is absolutely something that will help you learn how to relax and now create space. The yawn also creates space. All right. So we're creating space in the back of the throat. And I just explained why that's important. No phlegm, no mucus, nothing to distract the cords from vibrating freely and the air from moving freely from the pelvic floor directly to the front of the face. Okay. The throat actually is not involved in singing. I know that sounds weird, right? You're like, what do you mean? The vocal cords are there, the voice box is there, the esophagus there. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, all the things are there. However, it's sort of like if there's no engine, the car's not gonna go, right? You cannot have a steering wheel, the car can still go actually. It's gonna be kind of crazy, but the car can still go. You can have no brakes, but as long as the engine's running, the car can still go, right? So I want you to think of your throat sort of as the outside of a car. It's all the parts. All the things in your throat are all the parts. However, the thing that controls that throat is the engine, and the engine is at the pelvic floor, all right, at that detrusor muscle. So after we relax, we must create space so that pelvic floor can lift the diaphragm. A lot of voice teachers, a lot of voice coaches talk about singing from the diaphragm, and it's totally sort of like it's a misconception, or I'm trying to think of the right word. It's misguiding because the diaphragm is way up here, guys. It's way up here, right? And so the diaphragm can't be accessed except for the pelvic floor pushing up against the diaphragm. All right. And so to tell somebody to sing from the diaphragm gives them the same misconception of breathing and sucking in. All right. We want to create space to breathe. So we poke our belly out. Singing from the diaphragm makes singers think suck in, squeeze here, tighten here. And when you tighten there, you limit your access to the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor cannot support the air in the lungs. It cannot push it out. It cannot use it at maximum capacity if you kind of grab and hold. All right. So you must remain relaxed at all times. And I'm trying to tell you that takes practice. Okay. Everything I tell you, excuse me, is simple. Yawn, drink water, blow, hiss. I'm going to tell you about those things. Trill. But you have to do it constantly because the thing is, singing made simple is about in case something happens. And when things happen, it usually happens in a pinch. It usually happens in the middle of a performance. It usually happens when you can't stop and go, oh, what should I do? Right? So it has to become second nature. Because I've walked around doing this for 10 years and I still walk around doing it, especially when I have performances coming up. I'm a music teacher, so I train constantly all day with the kids and I'm singing all day. It helps develop a habit. So now my habit isn't singing from my throat. My habit is singing from my pelvic floor, not from my diaphragm, but from my pelvic floor. All right, so we're relaxing, we're drinking water, we're yawning to show that air, that belly out, and that throat, the lift in the back of the throat. And now we're going to create space. And again, breathing is something I want you to get out of your head. When you're in a studio session and you're having a hard time controlling your breath and you're like, oh gosh, something is coming up and I need to take a big breath, I don't want you to think I need to take a big breath. I want you to think this one thing: poke your belly out. And that actually is the thing that's going to change your life. The yawning, yeah, is good, but poking your belly out when breathing. Breathing is the biggest issue most singers, speakers, rappers have. And I've trained all of them. I've had some rappers come to me and ask for vocal training because they were having a hard time. They wanted to do the fast rap, but they had a hard time getting through. And I've had some DJs and public speakers come and because they wanted to sound more professional. And this poking your belly out and access of all the air, not just some of it, but all the air, changes their voice sound quality tremendously. It also takes away the heavy breathing and all that sound that your engineers have to fool with after they recorded you. All right? Belly out. I just did it and you didn't hear me breathe at all. belly out. And when you drop your jaw like a yawn and you poke your belly out, every single opening in your body is pulling in air because gravity. All right. Now, in order to move that air, this is what I want you to do. Blow. All right. And I don't want you to blow like a wimpy blow. I want, for those of you who know, big, fat, Dizzy Gillespie cheeks. He was that trumpeter back in the day for my young folks who don't know. And he had these big, fat cheeks. And I want you to blow with pressure. So this is what we're going to do: belly out, and blow. When you blow, you should feel that lift right in the center of the pelvic floor. You should feel that lift at the bottom of your belly, right underneath your belly button. All right. If you don't feel it, do this for me. Cough for me. Open the back of your throat and give a cough. And what you should feel is a pulling up right at the bottom of your pelvic. That right there is the muscle that you must train. That right there formulates your words. That right there is where you're going to get your articulation, not in your throat. That right there is where you're going to increase volume or decrease volume. That right there is how you're going to increase your range, because you're going to open your throat without any restriction and you're going to lift with maximum capacity. And then the more you do that, the stronger that muscle is going to be. And as that muscle becomes stronger, it's going to be more instinctive and more second nature to poke your belly out and lift and blow. Poke your belly out, belly out, and you can even hear the silence of the air. It's probably changed somebody like, oh my gosh. It's almost like you're not even breathing. It's like magic. And it really is, because once you begin to access this, and I'm going to show you how to use these exercises on your own repertoire, because a lot of singers don't play the piano. And so to give you different scales to remember is not simple. Okay, that kind of complicates things, because then you feel like you have to be at a certain place at a certain time in front of the instrument in order to practice, and you don't. You can be stopped at the red light, here in Vegas or in, Hollywood, and still be doing these exercises on your way to rehearsal. Okay, so we relaxed, water, yawn. We're creating space, yawn, poke your belly out. Remember the lift of that uvula. That's key, guys. So the yawn is important. The yawn is going to help you memorize that space. And everything we do in singing is muscle memory. Okay. And um, you're just like an athlete. I need all singers to understand that. You are an athlete and you're training. And these exercises that I show you, they kind of go hard. If you train with me personally, we go very hard, because it's almost like I'm training you for a 5K by doing a 10K every day. And then that just makes us extra strong and ready to go in case anything happens during performance. We know how to correct it. Okay, relax. We're creating space. Remember the lift of that uvula. When you yawn, you can feel it if it's lifted, if you feel the cool air. So first, open your mouth like this. Just open it. Okay. Now open it with a raised uvula. And the difference is you can kind of feel that cool air hitting the back of your throat, the fascia, the soft part of the back of your throat where the uvula is. You can feel that cool air coming in when you drop your jaw and poke your belly out. You can't necessarily feel it because it's almost like the valve is closed when the uvula is down. But now I drop my jaw, and you do kind of have to lift. And I'm going to show you a side view because I want you to know what it looks like. So this is a closed throat, open throat. You see the lift, the bottom, kind of like the double chin. And so, singing in the mirror in front of a video, doing these exercises is also very important because the you can just see if you're doing it correctly. If your jaw is closed or clenched, that creates tension. If your tongue is stiff, all these weird things that singers do and I've done, and I even catch myself doing sometimes. I'm not a perfect singer by far. I have to use these exercises every single day. Is nothing I'm telling you right now, I don't use every day. Otherwise, I would not be able to sound the way that I do. I wouldn't be able to sing immediately if somebody asks me to sing. I wouldn't be able to access my voice if I did not do this every single day. And I 100%, it's almost like yoga. When you start to stretch and first your legs kind of go like this, and then you begin to stretch, and before you know it, you're like full after about 6 months. That's exactly how this works. And then continue to work on it every day. All right, relaxing, creating space. And now the lift. The lift on the blow and the hiss. Water and yawns for the relaxing. And there are some other things, but we'll get into that another time. Yawning to create space and blowing. All right. And now the lift. All right. The lift is the most important thing. The lift is something that needs to be thought of after every single word. So if I'm singing, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Sybil, happy birthday to you. Excuse me, I'm not well today. And in order for me, excuse me, to get through that little phrase and still sound halfway decent and sound supported, I had to lift from my pelvic floor that entire time. And I'm thinking the word lift, 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 lift. And I know that sounds ridiculous. All of these things kind of sound ridiculous, but they work, y'all. I promise you. Thinking lift. Once you create space, once you relaxed and you create space, you got your formation. And then you think lift as you're moving air from that pelvic floor. You maintain that lift all the way through. The second you stop thinking lift, it goes away, the pelvic floor drops. All right? So, we're going to try the blowing, the hissing, and then there is also something I want to try, but I'll have to use this straw, the straw in here, because I wasn't prepared. This is just something that I use, but I didn't think I was going to use tonight. But blowing in the straw is very, very beneficial. Okay, so blowing, belly out, big fat cheeks. And when you blow, I want you to access that pelvic floor, access that detrusor muscle, and keep lifting and lifting and lifting until it hurts. All right, here we, and that's the only place. The throat, there should never be pain when singing. You should never have pain when singing. I don't care who anybody says, whoever they are. No, you should never, ever, ever. You can sing 24 hours if you want to, but you should never have pain when singing. If something is painful, you must stop. Drink some water, relax, swallow, do some blows, do some yawns, and release that tension. Poke your belly out, start over. Okay? All right. Um, blowing. Here we go. We're lifting. This is the lift exercise. Okay, belly out and blow fat cheeks. Let's go. You should probably see the lift. Maybe you can see my belly moving in. Here we go. Belly out. Blow, 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 blow. Now, when you drop your jaw, please make sure the back of that throat is open. Do you feel the cool air? It should feel like a valve open. All right, drop your jaw. And when you drop your jaw, poke your belly out at the same time. It's sort of like a pulley system. It all happens at once. All right, here we go. And blow. All right. You should feel the abs tighten, but they're still flexible. The lift of the pelvic floor is just lifting, lifting, lifting. That muscle is just going up, 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 up. Now release it. Poke your belly out. I want you to try a hiss. Okay. Now, when you hiss, please do not clench your jaw. This needs to stay loose and relax like Novocaine. Like you have a jaw, like you just got a shot of Novocaine and you can't even feel it. All right. And when you hiss, we're going to poke our belly out. And when you lift, the air immediately closes your teeth. All right. Don't you close it. Allow the air, the pressure of the air to close it. And then continue to lift, 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 and move that air out of the front of your face. Okay. Drop your jaw, belly out, hiss. Now, do not try to make your mouth look like the mouth of the person in front of you, no matter who you're coaching with, because that would mislead you. I want you to do the thing and make your mouth is going to look how your mouth looks. Okay, it's not going to look like mine. So do not. I used to try to do that. I would look at my voice teacher and I was trying to adjust my mouth, and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm trying to make my mouth like yours. She's like, that's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm telling you to do the thing, do the exercise. Your mouth is going to look like how your mouth looks. Okay. So don't try to match my mouth, match the thing I'm asking you to do. Drop your jaw, uvula up, belly out, same time. Lift and hiss. Here we go. Now, right now, I just came off of a nap and I'm a little tired. Your body is tired. You know, it's the same way like stretching your muscles before you run or before you exercise. So as you do more of that, if you do this exercise over the course of 15 minutes, just hissing and blowing, then you'll increase that breath capacity. So say for instance, if we do it and we only do it for 5 seconds, okay, here we go. Belly out and blow or hiss, whichever is more comfortable for you. Blow or hiss now. We're going to just do 5 seconds, okay? Belly out, drop your jaw, and go. All right, pretty easy, right? Some of you it was easy. Some of you was like, that was a little bit of struggle. But don't worry about it. You'll get there. All right, 10 seconds. Here we go. Shoulders up, shoulders back, belly out, drop your jaw, and go. Pretty good, right? At this point, I probably got about 15 in me. I can get to 60. Not right now. I'm a little tired, but you can. If you do this over the course of 15 minutes, before you know it, you'll be up to 60 or you'll be up to 45. Or over the course of 30 days, you keep working and you'll get up to that. So I encourage you, that's how you can test your outcomes. That's how you can test if what I'm telling you to do actually works. It's oftentimes kind of hard to tell an outcome unless you're having a recital or singing a song to see if it sounds better. So I encourage you also to record yourself when you're practicing. It is the most painful thing. It is horrible. No one wants to listen to themselves. I am the age I am now. It's none of your business, but I'm an old lady and I'm just now learning how to enjoy my own voice. It's a struggle, all right? Especially to listen through the mistakes. It's kind of hard. It's like looking in the mirror when you know you've been wrong and you're like, I got to go say sorry to somebody. So it's the same kind of situation. I encourage you to listen to yourself, record yourself, have goals. And this is how I'm going to show you how to set goals. Okay. So the hissing and the blowing, I hope I'm not moving around too fast. We only have so much time. And I want to give it a brief introduction so you can come back for more. All right. Relax, creating space, and the lifting, the blowing and the hissing. Now, I want to tell you how, before we get out of here, how to use these things in a song, how to use these things in whatever you want to sing. So I'm going to use Happy Birthday because that's a song that we all know. But whether you're singing Misty, my collar's doing some things. Whether you're singing Misty, whether you're singing Etta James, whether you're singing Ray Charles, no matter what you're singing, This is how you can use these exercises to increase breath support and to increase um, breath support and expand your range. All right, and just make a very clear sound. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I would just take that phrase. And so remember when you're practicing is not about singing the song over and over and over and over and over and over and 100 times. Completely pointless. Because if you're making mistakes 100 times, all you're doing is giving yourself incorrect muscle memory. You're teaching yourself how to do it wrong. So you have to stop yourself. We have to stay hydrated too. So drink some water. You have to stop and check yourself when you are doing something wrong, when you feel tension, when it's not relaxed, when the air is not flowing, when you feel tightness in your belly and the air is not moving, when you know you have a note, but the note is not working for you this time. Those are the troubleshooting. When you're singing a phrase and you can't get it. All right. You have to isolate the problem and fix it. Okay. So, say for instance, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Say for instance, you're having a problem there. The first thing I want you to do is blow over and over and over and over again. You're like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Yes, I'm serious because now you're creating intensive muscle memory. You feel that lift, the pelvic floor. I mean, it's intense. You're probably never going to use that much air. You're probably never going to use that much support singing happy birthday. So, again, you're training your muscles to be super strong. So, when it comes to that big song, that big Whitney Houston song that you want to sing, you got the power to do it and you're not screaming from your voice and the voice doesn't crack and you get to that note and it soars. All right. So, yes, isolate the problem or just by phrase, two measures at a time, eight or four, yeah, 2 bars, two measures at a time, and blow. Repeat, blow. Now, hiss. Drop your jaw, create space. Okay, here's another trick, the straw. All right, blowing into a straw focuses the air and activates the pelvic floor in a way that you can feel. All right, so if you have a straw, excuse me, nearby, grab it. And the second you blow in that straw, you can feel belly out. You can feel that intense lift and pull in the center of your core area. All right, blow your song in a straw. What, lady, you're crazy. Nope, but that actually works. And again, it creates muscle memory. Everything I'm telling you to do creates muscle memory, which is how athletes become good at what they do. All right. Venus and Serena were out there every single day. There was not a day that they missed. They ate well, they stayed healthy so they could do it every single day. All right. And that's something their father instilled. And as singers, it's something that we have to instill in ourselves, that we are athletes and that we must train every day. If you just do this for 5 minutes every day, if you blow, hiss, even whistle, if whistling's your thing, anything that moves the air freely is going to create muscle memory of how to relax, create space, and lift from the pelvic floor, which is a natural way. I tell this to people all the time. Have you ever stopped to think about babies from 0 to 3? They scream and they holler, and they scream and they holler, and they stop for 3 seconds to swallow, and then they scream and they holler some more. And I have never seen a horse baby. They're hoarse for 5 seconds, long enough to swallow, rehydrate, and scream some more. And the reason why is because from the day we were born, we're supporting sound the way our creator intended, the way the body is naturally made. You relax. You create space and you go for it with that gut. Have you ever watched a little baby scream? That belly is tight, right? They are giving it there. They want everybody in the place to hear what they have to say. Give me what I want because I am mad. I am uncomfortable. Something is happening, right? And so that big support of sound helps them do that for 3 solid years. Isn't that awesome, parents? But as singers, you have the same capacity. The thing is, as I said at the very beginning of our stream, is that 50% of the time you're chill and you're relaxed and you're not even thinking about it, right? And it just happens naturally. The way we breathe, everything happens naturally. Belly out, lifting up. And if you just pay attention, if you just sit at the TV and just put your hand on your belly and not even pay attention to how you breathe and just watch your belly go up and down. If you ever see a pet breathe, they go out and then it squeezes out. It squeezes. A baby, right before they go to scream, they drop that jaw, they open the back of that throat, that belly goes out, and here it comes. And singers, that's exactly the way we need to move air. Relax, drop your jaw, belly out, and lift up from that pelvic floor. I think blowing, hissing, and trilling have helped me a lot. The straw is also very useful for people who don't get the blowing, hissing, and trilling. And when I say trill, I mean this. Everybody can't do that. So I also encourage the hum. Hmm. Sometimes the hum can create tension. So I'm just telling you a lot of things that we tell you to do also come with warnings. Please be mindful of any tension created in your throat and just stop and swallow. Stop and drink some water because that tension is just going to get worse if you don't stop and fix it. All right. It's like walking on a sore ankle. It's not going to get better. You got to stop. You got to ice it. You got to fix it. Okay. So if you're singing something wrong, don't keep singing it wrong. Stop, isolate it, and build the muscle memory and the support behind that thing. Okay. By blowing, by creating the proper space, hissing and trilling, by moving air and then adding sound, either on a whistle, it's so hard, or a trill, or a hum. Everything should be in your nose. Everything should be pointed toward the mask. And that's a whole other lesson to talk about the mask and talk about focus. Voice lessons and vocal coaching. The difference is that most voice coaches um, coach people on style. Do you know what I'm saying? And how to present things. Voice teachers teach you about technique. A lot of singers, regular everyday folks, don't know the difference. And so I use the term voice coach because that's something that most people identify with. And they understand, oh, that's somebody that's going to help me with my voice. A voice teacher, they may like, what are they going to, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know why people think that, but for me, I am both, but it's a little different. I can teach you how to perform, I can teach you how to present, and I'm also teaching you technique and how to train your voice and how to keep your voice healthy and how to sing safely and how to sing for a very, very long time. Singing made simple. Relax, create space, lift. And if you don't remember anything else from today, instead of breathing, poke your belly out. All right, we're going to open it up to any questions. If you guys want to type in, are we able to type in any questions? If there's anybody live, is there anybody live? Do we have do we have live folks?
Give it a
If you
couple of minutes.
don't have any questions,
Mm.
Hello.
Right. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, y'all. We may have had a little bit of difficulties here for like technical issues. However, I do want to say thank you guys so much for joining us for the live session. I think we may have lost Sybil, but it was a wonderful session from her. And I hope that you found some value in this session. We'd love to hear from you, your experience with this session, what other topics you would like to see. Oh, there we go. All right. We got you back. I was doing a little outro for a second. I was like, we lost Sybil, but it's okay. It's okay.
Sorry about
Sorry.
that.
No, no worries. So I don't know if there were any questions in the chat, Marcel. Um, but I was saying, that was a wonderful session, Sybil. Thank you so much for that. I was following along myself, doing my breathing exercises. I was like, ooh, I'm not a singer, but with your help, I believe that I might have what it takes now. And I want to say thank you so much, for everyone out there who's live with us. I hope you found some value in the session. We'd love to hear more from you, your experience with this session, what other topics you'd like to see. Again, thank you, Sybil. You can check her out at SybilSinzMusic.com. You can find us, PTC Protected Creatives website at protectedcreatives.org. Be sure to follow us on IG at Protected Creatives. We're excited to have more sessions like this for you. And be on the lookout for our live music sessions as well, where we're going to be showcasing different artists and their skills. So that's going to be really cool if you feel like you want to be featured and you have what it takes. Again, those are going to be live sessions. Feel free to reach out to us, protectedcreatives.org is our email or online or through IG. Again, we're going to be doing sessions like this all the time. Sybil is the first of many, and we're hoping to have her back again. So, yeah, just thank you for everything. We're hoping that some people will come your way for your services because I found it useful for me, and I'm pretty sure that everyone else did too. So, again, thank you, and we hope to have you guys all back very soon.
All right. Take a look at we're also doing some live in-person workshops over at the Harrison House.
Yes.
So I'll have that put up and I'll send you guys that information so you can post it as well. We have 4 sessions, live in-person sessions called vocal conditioning.
Welcome conditioning, y'all. Don't miss it. You do not want to miss things like that. In the Harrison House, she was letting us know is a really wonderful historic place. So I think it's a beautiful thing that they're doing. They're also trying to like preserve this place. So if you want to know more about the Harrison House and her services, again, go to her website, sybilsinsmusic.com. All right.
Thank
So
you.
we'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye, guys.
Take care.